you an independent musician? How would you like to have your songs played on hundreds of radio stations just like the one you're listening to right now? Join MusicSubmit.com and we'll promote your music to radio stations and blogs in your genre. It's free to set up your account, and we guarantee your music will be considered for airplay by radio stations worldwide. Why not sign up today? It's free. MusicSubmit.com. Radio promotion for indie musicians.
Peace, peace, peace. It's your boy Jamel Honesty from Out of B-More, man. You now tuned in to Side B TV with my man, Phil Jackson. Salute.
I let my mind relax, my soul unpack. There's a pillow and a couch, I'ma lay on back. Ain't tired online, got a lot on my mind. Take a moment for my thoughts while I rest my spine.
Hey, what's going on? This is Phil Jackson, host of Side B TV, being brought to you on the Boombox Union channel. Please go back and hit that like and subscribe button. Listen, shout out to all the artists that came up for an interview. This is what I've been not dreaming of, but just talking to my favorite artists and, you know, just giving them their flowers and paying homage to them of, you know, their journey in music and, you know, not just the older MCs, but, you know, the newer generation now, because like I said, you know, I play these guys constantly on Side B Radio on WPRB 103.3 FM every Sunday, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. I mean, you know, it's just been, I'm like a kid in a candy store. And this next guest that I'm going to have, I've been trying to get this interview for a while. I've been trying to get this interview for a while because, you know, when I was younger, when I was way younger, back in 89, I first heard this guy on WPRB, which the station that I'm on now, which is absolutely crazy. And, you know, rest in peace to Tony D. Shout out to my man G, the promoter out there. They had the show called The Raw Deal every Thursday night on WPRB 103.3 FM out of New Jersey. And now I have the privilege to be on WPRB going on 15 years. And I'm trying to keep that tradition going by playing underground and independent hip hop. And when I first heard this guy, you know, not even just me, but just me and my friends, we were blown away. 18, 19 years old. And we never heard something like this, but it was super dope. And the crazy thing about it is, you know, he was giving knowledge of self, you know, just building young black men up with his music. And, you know, and not even just that, he was right from our era. Didn't even know that. I didn't even know that he was from Jersey. And so we could claim him to be our own. And he's a legend. He's not just a legend in Jersey, and he's not just a legend on WPRB. He's a legend everywhere. I mean, you know, he's had so many LPs. He had so many features. You know, I can't even name all the stuff that he's done. And not even just that, he ventured out. He used his platform to help others, and he started business ventures. You know what? I got my man YG right here, and this might be the last interview that I actually do. You know what I mean? Because we talked, like, I had a privilege of meeting you, of talking to you maybe like 14, 15 years ago, because you was managing a local, you were managing Kilogram. And we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah.
So, you know, I got the legend up here, not just from Jersey, just the hip hop legend, YZ. How you doing, sir?
I'm great, Phil. How are you?
I'm doing better now. I mean, look, we've been trying to link this interview up for a while, and I totally understand now why you're so busy. And we're going to talk about it, because you got a lot of stuff going on that I didn't even know about. And that's the one thing I like about you. I mean, like, you're promoted, but we'll talk about it, because it's not like, well, this is what I'm doing. It's like you're really hands-on, and, you know, we're going to talk about. But I want to talk about I don't even know if I want to talk about music now because you were telling me some stuff before you started. I was just like, wait a minute, I'm gonna have to
uh,
switch up the whole interview now, man. But how's everything been going, man? And
all is well. All is
all is
well.
well.
Yeah, all is well. I'm in Atlanta now, and
Okay,
I've been here since September of 1993. Um,
okay.
I moved to Atlanta from New York. I was in Brooklyn. You might have known that I had a company called 720 on Broadway in Houston,
Hmm.
and I left everything to Pee Wee to handle New York, and I came to Atlanta to kind of open up a different market. Plus, I wanted to buy a home, and the home that I wanted in Brooklyn was priced at $700,000, and it was
Hmm.
about 300,000 that was going to have to go into repair.
Wow.
And then my cousin had asked me to come here to Atlanta just to see if it would be something I would be interested in doing. Now, I had been coming to Atlanta before that because my family's from here, but
Okay.
uh, but I never thought about living in the South at all. So anyway, instead of me going, I sent my wife. I told her, look, if you go there and you see a house that you like, that's the house I'll purchase. And so she came here. She picked the house. I didn't see my house until the day we closed,
Oh wow.
and I've been here ever since.
Oh,
So
that's what's up. Now, how long
yeah,
ago was that again?
93, September of
And oh,
93.
so you've been down there for a minute.
Oh yeah, a long time.
Oh yeah, you've been down there for a minute. So let me, because like your story is so interesting coming from Jersey, AK, Trenton, New Jersey, and
Actually, to be honest with you, I mean, my music career kind of started in Trenton, but I was born in Patterson.
see, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. So
yeah.
when did you migrate down to Trenton, New Jersey?
Well, okay, so we moved to Central New Jersey when I was about 12 years old,
Okay.
and I was about to go into eighth grade, and we lived in East Windsor,
Okay.
and then now my parents live in Ewing, but I grew up and went to Hightstown High School, and
Okay.
then I went to Mercer for a while too, and then I moved to New York, and then so, but all the time, my 12th grade year, I started a record company. Actually, I put my first record out while I was still in high school, and then around 18, 17, 18, I uh, had a record company called Diversity out of Trenton. And so that's why most people think that I'm
Got
actually
you.
from Trenton. I have a lot of family that lives in Trenton and it's from Trenton,
Mhm.
but uh, I never lived in Trenton.
Okay. Yeah, and you know what? That has been not not a debate or argument, but that has actually been a discussion for so many years. Is why is he from Trenton? Is he from Heightstown? But see, I always thought that you were from Trenton because of the music and the people that you hung out with. Not even just that, because of the family. But
I did my business there. I did my
you
business
did your
there.
business there. Let me ask you a question. 17 years old, right? How did you think of starting a record company at 17 years old?
Well, it started out as a production company.
Okay.
I used to go to Duke's parties. If you're from Jersey or from Trenton, there's a guy named
Mhm.
Duke. He used to do these huge parties, and he used to uh, do these parties sometimes at this place called the Lawrence Center. And
Yes.
one day, this DJ tapped me on my shoulders, and he was like, "Yo, can you come talk to me about a DJ booth?" It was Tony D, and he
Mhm.
invited me to come to his house to do a demo. And so I went to his house. We demoed "I'm Bad," and he just kind of mixed out a record, and I rapped "I'm Bad" over a demo. And somehow that demo made it in the hands of this dude named Woody Wood from Power 99, who was a good friend of Jeff Mills. And Jeff Mills was Lady B's mix show DJ.
Hmm.
And so he got in touch with me. He was just like, look, uh, Jeff wants to meet with you. I'm still in high school, so Jeff came to see me. I don't know where Jeff was living. I don't know if he
Hmm.
lived in South Jersey or Philadelphia. I think he lived in Jersey, but he came to see me. My father took me to the Dunkin' Donuts to meet with him and sat in the car next to us while I talked to this man. As soon as I got in his car, he had my demo. And he was like, look, I want to record this. And if you have
Hmm.
any other things you want to record, I like to record that and put out a single on you. And so I went, talked to my parents about it. Of course, my mother said no right away. She was like, nah, you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. So anyway,
Hmm.
my dad talked to her. She said he convinced her to allow me to do it. And we went to New York, but I took my boys with me. I took G Rock with me and I took DJ Tink with me. And Tony D did this track. And we recorded a song called I Am Who I Am. And on the flip side was the demo that I recorded with Tony D, which was called I'm Bad.
Hmm.
And then Jeff had a link to this small label out of Trenton called Rock and Hard Records. And
Hmm.
Rock and Hard Records had a small following. They had Donald D and Chili D. They might have had another group. Oh, they had Simply Def from Trenton. And
Okay.
then our group was called Two Def. And then we did a show at the War Memorial, and that was
The
that
War
was all
Memorial.
she, and that was all she wrote. We opened up for like the NC Shan um, KRS-One battle,
Okay.
and we brought the house down. And it was at least 1,000 people in that building, or at least it seemed like it. So I always wonder, like I always get some stories that say, "Yo, I was in the War Memorial when y'all did that show," blah 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 blah
Hmm.
blah. But anyway, um, I wish I had footage of some of that show, but it wasn't like it is now. You didn't have cell
Hmm.
phones, everybody just filming shows and stuff. So anyway, to make a long story short,
Hmm.
after I did that record, um, I wanted to start my own company then. And I went to Tony. I was like, look, bro, um, we're here making music. We should start a company. And he was like, yeah, I guess it'll be Two Tone Productions. And I was like, yeah, that's it. Let's call it Two Tone Productions. And
Hmm.
so Tony and I, because of our names and complexions, we started a company called Two Tone Productions. And so I took him down to City Hall. We registered the name, and the next thing you
Hmm.
know, Two Tone Productions was born. Shortly thereafter, when I wanted to do another record, this guy Timothy Baylor accepted me from this small company called Diversity Records,
Okay.
and I told him, look, if you wanna do this with me, I'm cool with that, but if we're gonna do it, I want 50% of this label. And he started laughing. He thought I was joking. I wasn't joking because I was gonna do this on my own. And anyway, maybe a week later, he called me. He wanted to talk, and I acquired 50% of Diversity Records. And then we
So,
started. Hmm?
let me start you right there. How old were you
17.
when you were 19 years old?
No,
Like,
17.
okay, so you were so you were still in high school.
Yeah, I was still in high school, and I was probably about to turn 18. So I always try to say 17, 18. It started when I was 17, somewhere in 18. Like 17 when I was doing all the stuff with Tony D. Probably 18 by the time I was with Diversity.
My question is, especially back then, late 80s, mid to late 80s, early 90s, if you're trying to rap, you're just trying to rap.
Yeah.
But like what gave you the idea? I mean, I'm still trying to figure all that out. Like
Well, I
because like
never really
all the
wanted to
artists that
rap.
I know, they yeah, I just wanted to rap. But
I
what
didn't.
made you want to say,
I
oh,
never
go ahead,
wanted
I'm
to
sorry.
rap. I never wanted to rap.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted to. The reason I talked to Tony about doing two tone is because I wanted to put other people on. And as soon as I did Diversity, the first people that we went to that I thought was interesting enough to sign was Poor Righteous Teachers. So we ended up signing Poor Righteous Teachers to Diversity. And so my goal was to put people on. It wasn't really about putting music out for me. That just kind of happened.
so so you did a demo. So like you said, it just happened. So
I
like
love
who is
rap. I love hip
yeah,
hop.
yeah, yeah. That's why I want that. Like who like back then, who inspired you to become an MC?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, when I lived in Patterson, I was a part of this crew called the Zodiac Crew,
Okay.
and the Zodiac Crew was really just a small gang out of Patterson, and sometimes a few of us would get together at the stops at the fire station at the fire station corner and bang on the stop sign and rap a little bit or maybe
Hmm.
sing a little bit. Some would like some would probably say it's like doo-wop. So a lot of my early recordings, you'll notice there's a lot of singing in it, like a lot of
Okay. Yep.
so that's where that comes from. And then so I always was into to rap. Um, but becoming a rapper was never something that I thought would happen. It just happened. And it's just like everything else. You just have to be ready when the window opens or when the door opens. Opportunity arises. You got to be ready for it, or you got to step up to it. And that's what I just did. I just stepped up into it.
So let me ask you a question, because rest in peace to Tony D,
Yes,
legendary producer, out of Trent, New Jersey.
yes.
How special was it working with him? And because he created a lot of magic and a lot of noise and buzz, for the city of Trent. So like, how was it, working side by side with him?
I think, Tony and I just got along really well.
Mhm.
We always had fun together. We always um, did creative things together. It was more of a rivalry between he and I, a rivalry that I didn't really know about until later,
Okay.
because it was something that he created in his head.
Okay.
Um, but working along with Tony D, like we even recorded our album many years after all of this had happened, and it never came out. And it
Okay.
has some bangers on it. I would love to find that project. Um, this is after Poor Righteous Teachers blew up, and years later, like we just decided we were gonna get back in the studio, maybe
Mhm.
like somewhere in the early 2000s and or late 90s, and
Okay.
um, and we just never put it out. And but Tony was always fun. We always got along really well. He was a quiet genius. He did his thing, man. I give him his props. I don't think Tony's story is told enough. Uh, he he knew how to cross friction between artists. He knew how to build momentum. To him, that rivalry thing was hip hop, and so he
Mhm.
created these rivalries between groups. But when you're in it, you don't know that's what he's doing. You
Mhm.
didn't realize that until it was too late.
Okay.
He created a rival between PRT and myself without me even knowing.
Hmm. So you know what? I really didn't want to talk, because I know like every interview that you talk that you do, you actually do talk about that. But
Yeah,
um,
I mean, I don't
if you
have
want to talk
anything.
about, if you don't want to talk
I
about
don't.
it, because
Nah, we don't have to. Look, I love Tony D.
right.
As soon as I found out he passed away, I stopped everything that I was doing. I got in a plane and I went to Tony D's funeral. They held that coffin open for me to get there. I mean, I have nothing but love for Tony D. Nothing but love for him. He's a very complicated character, but this is music. What do you expect? What do you expect? I don't expect anything different. Um, we're all kind of complicated. Um, Tony D was a special person. I mean, he
Mhm.
he was one of those producers who I believe was ahead of the curve.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
was, yeah, he could have easily have been, on the same wavelength or same level as say a Marley Marl or like who else was back there, or Premier kind of came around that time. DJ Premier, those were the guys. Marley was the one, really. Like he was the top of the totem pole, in my
Okay.
opinion, for that era. And I think Tony easily could have, been right up there with him, but his life was cut short.
Right. So so how much harder was it for a Jersey artist to break out in hip hop, especially between New York and Philadelphia? Was that hard for you?
Um, I never, I don't look at obstacles as difficulties. Like I
Hmm.
look at obstacles as something that you have to navigate through. And so, for me, I never looked at those obstacles as something that I could not hurdle.
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna tell this story and I'm gonna leave it here, and I hope it doesn't upset him because we've already put this under the bridge. When I
Okay.
first recorded "I Am Who I Am" and I'm bad, I took it to Red Alert. I took it to, um, actually, I took it to the Latin Quarters and gave it to Red Alert. Red
Okay.
Alert said, "If I like it, I'll play it. If I don't like it, I won't play it." He never played the record.
Mm.
And then it wasn't until later that when we did Thinking of a Master Plan, well, actually, Master Plan was a B-side. When we did In Control of Things, Marley started, well, Pete Rock and Marley were playing that as an intro to their song, to their show, the In Control rap show. And then somewhere along the lines, Red Alert started playing Master Plan, and he might have played In Control of Things a few times, but he played more Master Plan while uh, Marley and Pete Rock were playing
Okay.
In Control of Things. Yeah. So I never looked at it like that. I mean, I'm sure that there were some obstacles, but I never really looked at those obstacles as a challenge that I could not face or could not cross.
That's what's up.
And I wanted to do, and so I wanted to, like, again, I wanted to help other artists get put on. That was my goal. So right from the jump, even before I could even launch my career, I was already trying to put other people on.
Right. So
ESD, PRT.
I want to get back to In Control of Things, Thinking of a Master Plan, like those classic records right there. But explain to my audience, because Trenton, New Jersey, especially the artists that come out of Trenton, New Jersey and the surrounding areas, that was something special back
Yeah,
then, and it
it
still
really
is
was.
now. But
Yeah.
tell me how special that was with you, Scott Lark, Drasmatic, PRT.
Yeah, those kids came later.
Right, they came later.
Yeah, they came later. When I came in, you had um Almighty Enforce, you had
Mhm.
Suicide
Suicide Monster.
Moss,
Yep.
you had who else did you have? You had man, I hate to like do any of these guys any disservice.
Oh,
Man, there was so many.
you know what? A personal friend of mine, Divine Drummer, Truth to Square.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
There were so many underground groups back then. You had Cool Gino G and Reggie Reg.
Yep.
You had Too Cool Posse, which ended up being on Diversity Records.
Mhm.
You had crews that were phenomenal MCs that were putting out good music. Tony D, which happened to be behind a lot of that.
Right.
And please forgive me if I didn't mention any of those other artists. You also had ESD, you had Poor Righteous Teachers, you had again Scott Lark, you had Drasmatic, you had and a slew of others, who I thought were just phenomenal, and I still look at them now. There's a guy named Big Oo
Big
out of
O,
Trenton.
my man. That's my man
Yeah,
right there.
yeah, and y'all, I see him. I don't personally know him. B-Fine knows him.
Mhm.
But I keep my eye on Trenton. I keep my eye on these young people's career. I love it. I love
No,
it. I
that's
love
what's
to
up.
see it. Yeah, for
No,
sure.
that's what's up. It's so like, you know what? Just by being at WPRB, I had the privilege and honor to meet a lot of those guys, and it's definitely it was special back then. Shout out to Don Black, man. I talked to him a couple of times.
Yeah,
Um, shout out to my man Feed out there. Look,
yeah,
y'all got a partner. This is a Jersey thing that we're talking right now. So some of you guys like, well, what the hell are they talking about?
yeah,
This is stuff that I wanted to talk to you about.
yeah. That's
So long.
funny. I didn't even think of Don Black. It's man. There were so many artists, man.
There's so many.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to. and peace to all of you. You know, you guys know you not all of you that know me and have or and some of you who don't physically know me. I mean, it's in spirit, man. I love all of y'all. I love what you do. I love that they keeping hip hop alive in
Right.
that area. Yeah.
So, going back, you starting your record label, start well, a production company, then, you have 50% of the record label. So now, you have to make decisions because now you're artist plus
Yeah.
you want to put other people on, but your song gets a lot of momentum. So
It took a minute.
how do you did you separate that? Because it's like, look, well, all right, maybe I need to go out and put out more music or work on these guys. Like, how did you work all that?
Well, when we signed PRT, I figured I would kind of play the background, um, but it didn't work out that way because
Mhm.
I'm a business person first, always been that way. Um, and then ESD was all the crew that was under me, So when I focused on that, I was like thinking, well, I can step back a little bit and get more into them, Be Fine, Be Chill, or Number Nine, my brother Young Star, um, and then PRT ended up wanting to leave us because of a dispute between Timmy and them,
Mhm.
and Timmy didn't want to let him go. I just decided it was best to let them go. But Wise and I do business today. Like I speak to Culture Freedom at least 2 or 3 times a month. Like
Mhm.
these are my friends. Like they're my brothers. I do business with them. And so yeah, that's where we were. And then I ended up moving to New York, um, and opening up another company on my own called 720,
Mhm.
which was on Broadway in Houston. And then we signed a whole bunch of other artists: Legion of Doom, Adolf the Assassin, Terminator, UTD, which had Most Def. Um, uh, Man, I can't even. We had at least 7 different artists on that label, and then many who came in and out of that office. I
Mhm.
mean, because I was in the same building as the Source, so it was just we had a bunch of people. Scott Free was part of Legion of Doom, who
Mhm.
went on to work at Loud Records. He's the one that introduced me to Wu Tang before Wu Tang even came out.
Mhm.
So yeah, I've been blessed, man, to be a fly on the wall for many, many years, and I always just wanted to pass that torch on to somebody.
No, that's what's up. No, you did, man. I mean, like, you actually started a whole bunch of careers and gave a lot of artists a lot of opportunities, man. And I salute you for that. But I want to talk
Salute.
about you. I want to talk about you because you know when we heard In Control of Things and we were like, all right, what the hell did we just hear? Because I'm gonna tell you, I heard it first on WPRB. So when I heard that, me and my friends, we were just like, yo, this is really something. And you know that it picked up momentum because the Philadelphia radio station started playing it.
Yeah,
Because
but yeah, they were already
PRB
on
start,
us.
yeah, PRB played it first because it was Thursday night.
Hmm.
The other rap show came on in
Friday.
Philly on Friday.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
and you had a connection with that with Power 99 out in Philly. So
Yeah,
was
for
that a
sure.
conflict of interest, or like you were just like, yo, did Tony D say, yo, we're just gonna play both sides and we're
No,
gonna play it first and let them
no.
play it?
I mean, those are his records. Of course, he's gonna play his records. You can't
Mhm.
stop a man from playing his own stuff.
Right.
He produced that stuff, so by all means, I mean, he had every right to play it, and it was never a conflict for me. I never even looked at it that way.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so it was just great to be a part of all of that whole movement. It was real good to be there, and I didn't really know what I was stepping into, and you really don't know who you touch until years later when you hear them talk of you.
Mhm.
And I didn't realize I was touching so many kids just around the country. Um, that in hindsight later on, when Dr. Dre is a fan of yours, when Eminem is a fan of yours, when DOC is a fan of yours, when
Mhm.
Ice Cube is a fan of yours, and you start thinking, man, when Tupac is a fan of yours, you get
Mhm.
me? You don't really know who you touch until you become cool with them later.
I will have to say about your music, your music is organic. It was never, you know, what you said. We felt, and we actually, and we believed you. Now,
Well,
I made a mistake because thinking of a master plan came out first, right?
no, In Control of Things was the A side.
See,
Master
you know
Plan
that
was Master Plan was never supposed to really see the light of day. It was a B side record.
really.
Yeah, and I could tell you how that became something later. But let's go to In Control of Things. First off,
Okay.
remember I told you I started this to put other people on.
Hmm.
Now I had a young man in my crew who wanted to be a rapper. He
Hmm.
goes by the name of B Fine. B Fine came to me and he's part of ESD, which is Eastside Division. That's my crew. And Fine wanted to rap, like he wanted to be out there. So what I did was I said, fine, look, this is the first record I'm gonna do on my label. Let's write it together. And so
Hmm.
In Control of Things, he and I sat at my mom's dinner table and wrote line for line, back and forth, just going at it. And that's how In Control of Things came about. Um, and so, like I said, even though I could have written that whole song by myself, I never really wanted to be that person that just said, this is just all about me. This is
Hmm.
because it had to be about the unit. If it wasn't about the unit, then it wasn't good for me. Same thing with Tony D. I could have just said, you know what? Let me start this production company on my own. Instead, I said, Tony, we should start this together. Timmy came to me and wanting to sign me. I was just like, no, if we're gonna do it, we have to do it together. We have to, because that's always been my order of operations. If just let's do it together.
When you first heard that beat, because you wrote your rhyme, you and B Fine wrote the rhyme for In Control of Things.
Hmm.
When you went to the studio and heard that beat for the first time, what was your reaction? Because I'm telling you right now, like the beginning, and because you had the sample, oh, let's have a meeting. Then the beat starts, and me
You know,
and
it's
my
funny.
friends, we were just like, yo,
Yo, it's
what
funny.
the hell is this? You
Yo,
know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you, we didn't write that song to a beat.
Mm.
We didn't even have a track when we wrote that song. We just wrote a rhyme. And um, I ain't gonna even front. Tony, I wish I was more selective with Tony
Mm.
because when we finally decided to do this album, I didn't really care what the beat sounded like. That's why that album it sounds like it's all over the place. It's like
Mm.
it has songs like On a Friday and
Yep.
In Control of Things and
Yep.
Dish for Liar on it. It's all over the
Yep.
place. It's everywhere. It's like and it's only because if Tony made the beat, I was gonna rock to it. It didn't even make a difference to me. I wasn't very selective. And after he did Holy Intellect, I said, damn, I should have taken my time.
Right.
even
No, but
though
I mean,
even though it turned out, people like that album. They love it. I mean,
oh,
and
it's
because
a
it has some
classic.
classic, well, there
Hmm.
you go. I think that's what happened. It became a classic because maybe just because I was just early in the game. I guess I don't know, but it has its moments, and I think that's what helps to help that album stand the test of time. On top of which, Tony D produced the majority of the project. I think I only co-produced I'm Working.
Hmm.
Everything else was done by him.
Now, okay, In Control of Things was the first album. I thought Thinking of a Master Plan was the first one.
No, that
Oh,
was
was the
that. Well,
first
it
song.
was. No, the first record that I ever put out was called "I Am Who I
I
Am
am.
and
Yeah.
I'm Bad." Then on Diversity, the first single was "In Control of Things," um, "On a Friday," and "Thinking of a Master Plan." And we did that on Diversity, and
Okay.
then we did the album because Tough City came to us wanting to do a project. And it was rushed. They didn't really give us much money. We just rushed and did the album. So that's why it just sounds like it does. It's just like it's all over the place. I never really gave it too much thought
Hmm.
at all. All I did was I kept B-Fine around me. So if you listen to the album, he's on all the ad libs. He's everywhere in the album. Like you hear his voice everywhere. You listen to Tagging It Up, you hear B-Fine, But a lot of those songs, which I thought were really dope, back then didn't make the light of day. Tagging It Up was one of my favorite joints. When the
Hmm.
Road is Covered with Snow was one of my favorite joints, and it never really surfaced like it should have.
Who has those? Who has the songs that never seen a light of day? Who like do you have that in your possession, or does somebody else have them?
No, I own all my masters are right over there.
Okay.
All my
Wow.
masters, I look at them every day. They're right there.
Are we gonna possibly hear some of that? You gonna?
Well, no. When the Road is Covered with Snow came out,
Yeah.
but what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, but what I'm saying they never really took off.
Okay. I see
You
what you.
know,
Okay.
they
Okay.
they
Yeah. I see
never
what
they
you're saying.
never took off. And then I have a bunch of songs that I never put out over there too.
Hmm.
Um, but songs like that, Tagging It Up, should have been a street, in my opinion, a street
Right.
banger. But nobody paid it any attention. And that was all Tony D.
Right. Hey, I want to ask you a question because I always ask, the artist this, and I always get, different answers. Excuse me. Dealing with your first contract that you signed, was it a fair contract in your eyes, or was just when you look back,
Okay,
it's like, nah, it wasn't fair.
the very first contract that I actually, because I didn't really sign a contract with Diversity because that was my label.
Right.
But when we did a deal with Tough City, I didn't want to do that deal. Timmy
Mm,
wanted to do that deal. And the reason I think Timmy wanted to do that deal, and remember, I was just a kid, I was young. I don't think he could handle the record anymore. He couldn't take it any further. So he figured but if we had just waited another 3 months, 4 months, people are already, believe me, if Tough City's looking, other people are looking. And I tried to tell him that. I was like, look, we
mhm.
should just chill for a minute. But I think he had just come to his wits end about the record. And so, the first person that came knocking, he decided to do the deal. I would have waited. Um,
Mm.
but I was a partner. I got to do what my partner wants to do. So he he took me up to meet Aaron. Um, and I didn't really want to. I could tell Aaron knew I didn't want to be in that office.
Mhm.
And then I could see in Timmy's face he wanted to do it. So I said to Aaron, I said, look, if you sign us, we'll change your label. And we did.
Mm.
And we did just that. I mean, and no, not to take anything away from the artists they were dealing with, because he had Market 45 King, he had Lakim, he was doing all these, but no project did what ours did. We went
Right.
national, where all those other products were just local projects.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So, you mentioned like the whole rival thing, and that has been going on in hip hop for so many years, just with, you know, people beefing with other people. And so like and you had your moments with that too, but like looking back on it now, and since we're older now, and you actually did say that Tony D, kind of manufactured some of that. So
A lot
like
of it, all of it,
so,
in my
so,
opinion.
so like my question to you is, well, it's really not a question because you actually said it, but you already answered it for me. But it was everybody was doing it. So like looking back on it now, is that something that you probably did not? He's like, nah, I probably didn't want to do that. And then when you go back, like you said, like the whole PRT thing, and now you and Wise have
and
business
culture.
adventures together, and you and
Yeah,
Culture Freedom are mad
yeah,
cool. So like
we're
when you look
cool.
back at it now, like do you look like did y'all look back at like when y'all sit back sometimes y'all look, yo man, why do we do all that?
Well, to be honest with you, I tried to squash it back then.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to squash it then. I wanted to, but it was too late to do it. I
Right.
actually, before This Live came out, before we did the remix of Crocodile Dundee,
Mm-hmm.
I went to them first. I wanted to squash the beef then. Um, but it was just too late. It was too much going on, and we were all just kids, man. We were just, teenagers trying to find our place. But for me, it was always something bigger. And I wish that a lot of that never happened. But I think because of stuff like that, I think Tony is a true hip hop enthusiast.
Mm-hmm.
He looked back at things like Wild Style, I would imagine, where even though it's just a fun movie, you got crews battling each other, double
Right.
trouble, and then you got these crews it's going back and forth with each other. Beat Street, same thing. You got graffiti, artists who are mad at each other and everything, and even dying for their art. You get me? And because that's what think about it, man. The Bronx was ground zero. Like I mean, it was a war zone,
Yeah.
and somehow people's pain came out of that. People's pain became their art, and so it's just I guess I could look back on it and say, hey, I understand what Tony was in his mind probably trying to do, but we could have done something so much more constructive. We could have, think about it, man. We literally could have had all of Trenton
You sure could have.
on
Mm-hmm.
lockdown, and help usher some of these artists who might be having difficulties or were having difficulties into this game much smoother. We literally could have been at Jersey Def Jam,
Yeah. Absolutely. I,
and I
I
believe that. I just, and I hate the fact that Tony didn't see that side of it.
Mhm. I want to ask you about because I did a previous interview with the artist and a producer, and I like to talk about the state of the culture. So my question to you is like, well, let me back up. I asked this producer. I said, "How do you like the state of the culture right now?" He said he didn't like it because the reason he said it was no originality. So I want to get because you're a veteran MC and you've been in this game for so long on both sides, on both owning a record label and being an artist, and not just being an artist, being a top artist, not just in our area, but just around the country and the nation. How do you feel the state of the culture is right now?
Honestly, I don't have any negative criticisms about hip hop.
Okay.
Um, the music, well, rap music, which I don't consider hip hop, um, because there's rap of today, like just like there's pop music, there's maybe if there's a subculture
Hmm.
of rap, that's probably it. What we're hearing now is different facets
Hmm.
of rap music. Hip hop, I believe, is alive and well. I just
Right.
think that I just think that hip hop doesn't get uh, the they don't get the support that it needs from the powers that be. At least not in this country. I mean, you can go to Europe, you can go to Japan, and hip hop is so prevalent. It's kind of it's almost sickening
Mhm.
how prevalent it is. But here, everything is It's not really about hip hop at all anymore.
Mhm.
But rap music is very big here. I like the fact that it has a uh, vast selection.
Right.
I can't say that I can listen to all of it all the time, but I listen enough to decipher who I consider to be um, worthy of my ear, and then I listen to hip hop to see who's worthy of my ear. And to be honest with you, even in that, not all hip hop is, I believe,
Right.
worthy just yet. It still has growth.
Right.
Um, but I think that there's enough hip hop artists out there. Come on. I recorded an album in 2024 and I listened to it for a year before I put it out because I wanted to make sure that it was something that I could listen to. And
Mhm.
then in the midst of that, a bunch of my peers started putting together records. Common and
Yes.
Pete Rock. Common and Pete Rock. You have now Raekwon, you got the Clips. I hear that Jada's. I don't know if this is true or not, but I hear that Jadakiss is working on another project right
Yes,
now.
he is.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of people who are putting out projects who I consider to be hip hop artists. Um, you know, I listen very carefully to the Clips project, and I listen very carefully to Raekwon's project, and I like both of the projects. There are portions of the project that I believe, um, without giving any harsh criticisms, I probably would have approached it differently. But they're their own artists; they got to follow
Right.
their own heart. They got to do what they feel they got to do. Um, but I thank God that it's here.
Right.
I thank God that, because we need it. We need to be able to go and listen to those artists. But then you have artists like MF Doom, and I hate to say it, a lot of young African Americans or Moorish people weren't really paying attention to MF Doom. His audience was mostly Caucasian,
Yep. Yep.
and that goes for a lot of you know hip hop artists. That they're shit. Even when you get into like what you would consider hip hop slash rap, like that whole Snoop Dogg, that man. If you go to their shows, it's all white people.
Yep.
I can't say white people because there's no such thing as a white person. Caucasian folks.
Mhm.
There's a bunch of Caucasian folks in the audience, um, with a splash of African American or Moorish people in the audience. Those are the people that were supporting those artists. And so when you say, "Hey, Snoop Dogg is probably the largest artist in the country," it's because that dude is loved by Caucasian people.
Yep.
Loved. Dr. Dre is loved by Caucasian people. Probably him doing Eminem was one of the smartest things he could ever do
Smartest
because
things he ever
now
done.
he's
Yep.
now he's etched in stone in their heart.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You know, I
So
like me personally, I love the space that it's in right now because if you would have, if I think like you said, I think it's much needed because I think Kwame's about to come out with a new album.
he is. He
Rakim
got
dropped
another
a new
album
album
coming.
last week.
That's right.
I mean not last week, last year. Ghostface
Daddy
is
O,
about to come out with one. So
Daddy O, Stetson
Daddy
Stone,
O, shout out! And I did an
LL,
interview with him. Crazy.
LL just put an album out just last year. I mean,
Yep.
so it's a bunch of projects out. Yeah, and I'm happy to see it. And to be honest with you, a lot of it
Mhm.
I don't necessarily know. I think, you know, it's almost like this, man. And I hope this doesn't touch or rub people the wrong way. I just think that a lot of these producers, right? They feel like they have to become something other than themselves to be able to uh, be accepted into, a certain sect. And I listen to some of these projects, and I hear a little bit of that, and that's where I think I step back just a little bit. I
Right.
step back a little bit. For me, I always think like give it, and this is just me. This is just me. Um, if it's in you to do it, do it. I mean, because not all of my songs, because I think hip hop is very universal. I do. I think
It is.
it has a huge power. It does, but I still think the elements of it should still be raw. It should be, at least in my opinion, it should be organic. It should be organic, and I don't want to just, hey, man, that sounds like a Drake beat. I'll rap over that. I
Right,
don't.
right,
I think
absolutely.
me personally, I think that's real corny.
And you know what? And just to piggyback off of what you said, like 10 years ago, maybe like eight, like five, not maybe even 5 to 10 years ago, the artists that we just named, they weren't going to put out music because, like, I don't know if they were in limbo. Like you veteran MCs, it's like, well, there's really nowhere. Like, how are we going to promote this? And I know you guys weren't really concerned about radio because the thing about it is, all these guys that we just mentioned, they have very successful albums out right now without any radio airplay, and
But
that
that's hip
is
hop anyway. Hip hop started
that's hip
that
hop
way.
anyway. Yep.
That's hip hop. That's hip hop. Hip hop is gonna figure out a way to surface on its own.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, cause a hip hop head gonna find some hip hop. He gonna do it. He can't stop him. You can't
Oh
stop
no,
her.
no
They gonna
question.
find. Yeah, they gonna. If it's hip hop out there, they gonna find it.
I think also too that they were like it was like they were in limbo. When I mean they were in limbo, they didn't know if they wanted to sound like the new generation or whatever. And we were just like, nah, just rap, and to be honest, it don't have to be a boom bap beat or underground feel to it.
It just
Just
has to
rap.
be authentic. Yeah, it just has to
And,
be authentic.
and
Be
you know what?
authentically you.
And they got and they got that recipe and all those artists. And like you said, some of the songs, and I do agree with you. Some of the songs is like it's kind of on the younger side, but that's cool though. If that's
Yeah,
what you
whatever.
feel, then that's
Yeah, if
cool.
that's what you feel.
But the overall projects that are out right now, I'm gonna take one project, Daddy O's project, phenomenal. Lords of the
Yeah, Daddy.
Underground,
Yeah,
Lords of the
yeah,
Underground they just dropped the album maybe like a few months ago. Phenomenal.
yeah,
I'm telling you.
yeah. But Doro, he gonna do him. I mean, Funky
Yep.
gonna do him. They gonna do them. And
Yep.
Redman, he keeps putting out
Redman.
projects,
We forgot
and
about Redman.
he's always authentic. He's always
Yep.
authentic, and I love that about him. I mean, Red, he's one of my favorite MCs. Like
Hmm.
he just because he just does him. He
Yep.
just does him.
He
And
doesn't
I'm a
try to
little
fit in.
biased because he's from Jersey. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
He
yeah.
doesn't
He
fit in.
just
Like, he doesn't try to
yeah.
fit in.
Nah,
Um.
and he doesn't have to.
So how does it feel when you see the the veteran NCs, your peers, like they're selling out? They're not just selling out shows; they're selling out tours. So how does that make you feel? Because years ago this was not going to happen, but it just seems like the resurgence and people want to see these shows again and these
Well, I could tell
artists.
you why, though. I could tell you why. I mean, a lot of these shows, think about it, a lot of these new artists, man, there's no development. They
Right.
come out. I mean, think about it. Most of these guys that have maybe a 2 year career, some of
Mm-hmm.
them might have a 4 year career, maybe even a 5 year career, but it doesn't really, their stint is short.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no real development in that. And there's nobody out there really helping these kids to develop that skill. So their shows don't really come off really nicely. You
Right.
know, um, it was rare to get somebody like a Kendrick Lamar who could actually do a good show. But that came with some practice.
Right.
Some of these others I won't mention. I've seen some of their shows, and it just don't do it for me. I mean, it's just not there. And I think hip hop was always known for the excitement. Like you knew,
Mm-hmm.
even though might have been one dude in a microphone, he was going to tear that fucking stage up. He was going to
Yep.
do everything in his power to make sure that that audience left with him on their brain. And so I think that when you start to think about this resurgence and how people are going to these hip hop shows
Hmm.
It's because they miss the excitement.
Yep.
They
Absolutely.
miss they're sick of going to something, spending $400 for a ticket just to see somebody give a terrible show, when you
Yeah.
can pay $100 for a ticket and go see somebody kick you in the ass and leave you sore while you drive home.
That's what's, have you been in high demand? Because I
I've
just
been
see
getting
like a
called.
lot of
I get
artists like going on
I
the
get
road. Have you been in high demand
I
for
get
doing
I
shows?
get call I get calls all the time, bro. And to be honest with you, I pass on a lot of stuff. I pass,
Really?
and I don't think about it, bro. I put out 5 albums. This is my fifth
Mhm.
project and an EP. So if you add that, that's six, right? Um, and to be quite frank with you, no one paid attention to those projects, and I didn't promote them either. I figured they would, and that was my fault because you gotta. I've learned just like with products, you have to be able to promote your product. You have to get out there and let people know about your product. So those were my bad. But
Mm.
on this one, I wanted to make sure that I at least let people know that the project is out there. But I didn't want to stream it because people were saying, well, why aren't you streaming your project? It should be on all streaming platforms, and so everybody can hear it. Well, somebody has to take a stand against that shit. A lot of these artists ain't gonna do that. Even though they ain't gonna make a dime fucking with those streaming services.
Mm.
They do it anyway. And I remember when rap was uh rap was the catalyst for revolution and rebellion. And so I choose to rebel. I choose to be the person that if you want to hear my shit, it's exclusive, just like it used to be. Not
Mm.
everybody used to listen to rap music. It was a very small,
Like a few.
select few, but that
Hmm.
few would make people rich because they
Yep.
would go out and buy the music. They would go out and support the artists. They would go out and make those artists shows better because what might have started here ended up way over here because they had plenty of time to develop. And nowadays, you don't give these acts 100,000, 200,000, $500,000 just to show up at a show,
Hmm.
just so you can go home disappointed. I mean, how many times you gonna do that before you just say, you know what, fuck that, I'm going back to hip hop. I'm
Yeah.
going back to somebody. If KRS One get on stage, he gonna rip the show up. I'm going to that.
Yeah.
If Wu Tang get
What
on stage, they gonna rip the show up. I'm going back to that. If Redman goes on stage, he's gonna rip the show up. I'm going back to that. If Lords on the Underground get on stage, they gonna rip the show up. If YZ gets on stage, I'm gonna rip the show up. I'm gonna rip the show up. So
the one thing
it's
the one thing I
unfortunately.
like, Eric Sermon had said that, you know, and look, shout out to the new generation. Do your
Yeah,
music, do what you feel as though your rendition of hip hop. Do what you do so you can, you know, get paid off this, get paid for your art. Eric Sermon said in the interview, basically, he said, look, I can still do shows from songs 30
because I
years
got the
ago
catalog. That's
because
right.
I
I
got the
got the
catalog, and
catalog.
not even just that. Um, he said, like, and these young guys now, they can't do shows 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago because they're talking about shaking their ass and doing that. Everybody is grown up. They're
And,
either in
and,
the
and
church
just
or
killing
they have
everybody.
families.
Everybody's
Yeah,
talking about killing each other. Yeah, it's like, how many times must you blick a person before? How many
yeah,
times? Like, I mean, back in the days when we talked like that, we knew, we weren't really talking about literally killing somebody.
right.
Nowadays, they in their mind they really mean that, and not to say
No,
that they're
they
gonna
really
go
don't.
do it, but in their mind they really mean that shit, and I think that's a problem, bro. The
It's a
music
huge
should bring
problem.
us together, not tear us apart. It should
So
bring us
I want
together.
to
It
talk.
shouldn't
I
tear
want
us
to talk
apart.
about your latest project that's out right now, because,
It's
like
called
you said,
Morgan.
you have 5 projects and one EP, so you have a total of 6 out right now. But the latest one, Morganic. So tell me about that.
Okay, so first thing I did was many years ago I purchased about 6 tracks from Ninth Wonder, and
Okay.
I held on to them for a reason. Ninth didn't understand, but I understood because I knew just like every year the music changes. And when I
Mhm.
came out, I wanted to come out with hip hop. I wanted to come out with the feel of hip hop. I wanted to do that. So I held on to these records for years. These tracks for years before I even thought to write to them, thought to put any music, any words to these things. And so when I finally decided to do it, mostly because Daddy O was bugging the shit out of me to get in the studio,
Mhm.
I decided that I was going to do a project, and I was going to use some of these Ninth Wonder beats. So I took half of the Ninth Wonder beats and did put them on this project. I also found another guy by the name of DJ Pain One, who I loved his sound, and I used him. Um, my uh, co-executive producer, Fran Lover, he gave me a track, and then I did one other track from a local dude here by the name of Enoch. And I love the album, and I don't write until I'm in the studio. So I know the music I want, but until I go into the studio, I don't write anything. So I
How
write
how
everything
long
in
did
there.
it
I
take you to
record
do the
everything in
album?
there.
How long did it take you to complete the album?
Just to get the vocals down,
Yeah. Mhm.
maybe a month,
Okay.
maybe 30 days.
Okay.
The album before that, I did in 7 days.
Okay.
Yeah, I did an album called Muad'Dib. I did an album called Muad'Dib, and I did that album in 7 days. But I slept in the studio for 7 days and recorded it.
So when that project came out, when Morgana came out, how did that make you feel? Because like you're so
That
much of
just
a
that
veteran
just came
at this.
that just came out. Morganic just came out.
It just came out.
Maybe a
So
month
like
ago.
how
Maybe a
like do
month
you
ago.
still get that same feeling that you got like years ago when your first project like hey I actually finished this project. Is it more easier to finish to complete the process of making a whole project for you now?
Um, Making music for me has never really been a difficult thing. It's about just getting the elements together and being able to focus
Mhm.
on what you're trying to accomplish in that moment. It's never really been that difficult. I think the process of recording is a lot easier because literally, if I wanted to, I could put equipment in here. Like I have a small pre-pro here, but I literally could record right from this desk if I chose to. But I don't want to do that. I like going to the studio. I like my process. I like getting away and getting out of my comfort zone, going to the studio and not knowing where I'm going to go. I like that because that's hip hop to me. That's hip hop. Hip hop is the how you feel in the moment, or at least to me, it is. And so the process hasn't really changed for me much.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what's up. So, and where can people get the new project out right now?
Organic. If you go to YZ the Black Bank, just like it is on that screen right there. If you go to
Mhm.
YZ the Black Bank, and I don't think it's an at, it's just YZ the Black Bank dot bandcamp.com/album /Morganic. You can listen to the album for free. If you like the album, you can purchase it right there. Every periodically, you'll see that there's vinyl on there, and you can pick a vinyl up if you want to. But it's an exclusive vinyl, so it's like, you know, I play the game. You know, I play the game. Like I look at myself as a vintage cloth, and
Mhm.
if you want it, you're gonna have to treat it as such.
My last,
Not to think that
mu- my,
I'm any better. I'm not better than anybody, but just what it is.
my last music question, because I want to talk to you about your other business ventures. What is your favorite song and why
Of mine,
of yours that you
of
made?
mine.
Yep.
Wow.
when you still hear it today, it's like, yo, I really did that. You know what I mean?
You know, it's funny. You know, it's funny. I would probably have to say, man, I love this new album. I really do. It's like,
Hmm.
I love Morganic too. But if I had, because I'm such an enthusiast, I think it would probably have to be Return of the Holy One.
I know. You know what? And that was you know what? Mine's is In Control of Things and Return of the Whole. Tell me how that whole record, because you were going, because you didn't make music for maybe like a year or two, and then that song came out. We were like, yo, where the hell has this cat been at? I mean, it's like you never left.
Well, what it was I moved to New York
Hmm.
and I was part of Black Watch, and one of the kids in
Okay.
Black Watch, Ray Beta, um, he was my roommate, and he produced tracks. And when I finally went and met with Manny Marad, who took me to um, the Coachella offices to talk to Lenny Fisherberg about doing a project, Lenny said, "Hey, do you have any music recorded?" And I was like,
Hmm.
"No."
Hmm.
And he said, "Well, Manny has, he really likes you. He wants to see if, if you're interested in doing a project with us." And I said, "Well, realize I don't want to just do a project. If we're going to do it, it's going to have to be a production agreement, blah, blah, blah." He said, "That's fine, no problems.
Hmm.
Here's $10,000. Go make a record. Go make a song." So
Hmm.
what I did was I booked 24 hours at INS Studios, took Beta in the studio. We happened to have Cole Rock as the engineer, who he worked for INS, so it wasn't like we brought him on specifically. He was just there, and we didn't know what we were going to record. And I think that that's probably why I like it so much, because it showed me that you can make classic records on the fly. And so that's been my process ever since.
Who
Ever
produced
since.
who produced Return of the Holy One?
That's
Who's the
that's Ray Bader. He did the tracks and me. We co I, he produced and I co-produced.
and you know what the crazy thing about it is? I always thought that was Tony D because that had that Tony D feeling to it. That I always thought it was Tony D.
Nah, to me that didn't sound like anything Tony D would
Really?
produce.
Hmm,
Nah. Look,
I don't know.
that
Maybe
track
for me from the outside,
that track
that's why.
that track is murderous. It's like
It is. It is.
it's like nothing I've ever heard. And think about it. We went in, it was made up right there in the studio. Everything was mixed. Everything was created, laid down, recorded, mixed, all in one night in 24 hours.
Wow.
And when I took it back to Lenny, he was like, "You sure this is what you want to put out?" And I was like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
this is what I'm feeling right now." And that shit was like number one on BET for like 10 weeks.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah,
Because
Return of the
it just
Holy
did,
One.
because
Yes,
it didn't sound like anything. It didn't look like
you're right.
anything. It wasn't copying anybody's shit. It
Nah.
was nothing like anything else. It wasn't like even like my peers. It wasn't like PRT.
Nah.
It wasn't like anything. It wasn't like anything. And that's why I love it so much.
I do agree with you because you know what? Just thinking back at it now, I'm listening to it in my head. It didn't sound like a traditional
Anything.
YZ record, but bro, that shit was hard as hell. I'm telling you, bro. Like we
Well,
had it
think
going
about it
back
this
to
way.
back.
You know what? You just made me think of something. Think about it this way. You said, "Hey, I didn't make music in a couple of years, and I had to make a splash, right?
Hmm.
I had to make a splash because if I had just came out with any old record,
It
it would
wouldn't
have
work.
came and went.
It
It,
wouldn't
it
work. Nope.
and somehow the gods of the studio came in there and blessed us because we made a record that, in my opinion, should have launched my career to somewhere else. And to be quite
True.
frank with you, I wanted to do a whole album that sounded similar to that.
Mm.
If it was up to me, my whole album would have been dirty and grimy, and I would have been the original Wu Tang, all by myself.
Yeah. Yeah, because you
but
know
but
what?
P,
Like, look.
but Pee Wee Kirkland wasn't having it though. He was just like, no, you can't do that. You gotta. And he started getting in my ear every day about what he wanted, and so it became a Pee Wee Kirkland project rather than a YZ project. When I first did that song, Pee Wee wasn't in the picture, and then
Mm.
he became a part of the picture. And when he became a part of the picture, the project changed.
And so you weren't really on board with that.
No, I mean I did what I had to do. There are portions of the album I like. I don't like that they mastered the album while I was gone because it doesn't have. So I'm gonna probably have because I own that record. I can probably just remaster it and re-put it out with a few records that I recorded back then that could have made the project, but just
Oh
didn't.
man, I wish you would. That
And I like I
please,
said, and I have my
please
masters on
consider
tape
that.
right over there. Huh?
Yeah, please. YZ, please consider that, bro. I mean,
I,
you know.
I have been.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Now, you done your thing in music on both sides. Owning label, distribution company. I mean, a production company, artist. Had classic records, dope comeback records, and then not. I want to go back to Return to the Holy One real quick. Back then, it was very rare that if you were gone for maybe like a year or two, especially in hip hop, basically they moved on to something else.
Oh yeah, they
But
forget about you for sure.
they will forget about you quick in the 90s if you
Oh
had
yeah,
that little gap in between. But when you
that's
came
real.
out with Return of the Holy One, we were like, bro, he ain't never going nowhere. You know what I mean? And that's a classic album too. But I appreciate all the music that you blessed us with. But you have your hands involved in so much more. I think it's more deeper than music. So, like, explain to my audience your business ventures right now because I didn't even know until we came on the air this what you're doing right now. So, please explain this to my audience.
Okay, so just so people can understand, like when I first started, even in music, um, my whole process has always been about independency. Being independent and free from the the slave master.
Mhm.
um, so that was always my process. I figured, you make your own way, you create your own wave, and you do it unapologetically. You do what you got to do. And so, um, remember, I started my first company at 17. I never
Mhm.
really looked back. I've always wanted to do my own thing. Then I told you I moved to New York and had 720 on Broadway, of all places, on Broadway, same building as the
Mhm.
Source. So here it is. This process is just ongoing. When I came to Atlanta, I started a process of buying homes and fixing up homes and renting homes and being a landlord, similar to what my grandfather used to do in Patterson.
Mhm.
So I took after him there. Um, it's funny. Uh, Jermaine Dupri's mother, Tina, once came. I was with because Jermaine before I even moved here. That's who I used to come and see all the time. She was like,
Mhm.
"Why don't you work with Jermaine? He would love to have you." And because Jermaine and I are old friends. Before I even moved here, that's who I would visit. And
Mhm.
I told Tina, I said, because I'm my own person, I don't have any issues with Jermaine, but I'm my own person. I do things for myself, just like Jermaine is doing for himself. And she understood. She said, I understand. And so that moves into what a partner of myself and my wife, we have well, my partner and I have a company called GIB, which is Georgia Independent Beverages.
Mhm.
Georgia Independent Beverages is made up of a few components. One of the components is a farm. The other component is a manufacturing facility and storefront. The other component is a distribution uh, arm of that. And so my partner and I, we have a company called GIB, and we have three different um, lines or three different companies under that, which is Hibiscus Heaven, which my wife and I own. And then we also have under Hibiscus Heaven Roots and Fruits, which is a cold pressed juice um, juice brand. And then we have Water Party, which is a alkaline spring water line, which is mine, and
Mhm.
I partner with another couple of guys with that. And then my main partner, Najee, has Pride Road, which is Pride Road Farms, which is 77 acres, grow hibiscus, and we take that hibiscus and make products from it. We make products from it, um, all with hibiscus, and it's been really really challenging and fun and exciting and productive, and it's been it's been very pleasurable, and it also has been inspiring, and I love it. I love it. I wouldn't do anything else. You know, our products are everywhere. We're in the airport. We're in several restaurants around Atlanta. We always get people from out of other states who are ordering our products. We also have a national pre-order because remember we're a farm, and so hibiscus is harvested somewhere around late September, early October. So what we did this year was we decided that we were going to do a pre-order for Pride Road Tea. So everybody around the country could could partake in this harvest, and
Mhm.
they could pre-order this. And when the harvest comes, we would send their product to them. And all they have to do is go to prideroad.com, hit the product list, pre-order, and know for sure that your product is coming, because we've been doing this now for 6 7 years, and it's
Mhm.
been growing. It's been growing very fast, and I love it, man. I do. I love. I've always been a hands-on guy. You know,
Mhm.
from construction to doing what I do. I make my own products. I manufacture. So every bottle that someone drinks of mine, whether they be 6 months old or 60 some odd years old or 80 years old, all of those products are made with my care, my love, my I put all of the products in the bottle. And then Pride Road, Najee puts all of his products in the bottle himself. We do all of that ourselves. So that's when you said, hey, it was taking some time to get to the interview. I work every day, and
Wow.
I had to put an order in today for the airport. So I was up real early trying to get over there to get their stuff to them. So I'm happy with what I do. It's a very productive and very satisfying
Mhm.
uh, venture that I've taken upon, and I love it because just like with music, I want to open up avenues for other farmers and other brands to be able to come through us and be able to have their stuff distributed where they might not have gotten a chance to do so otherwise.
Show the
Same
bottle.
thing like music.
Show the bottle again. And on
Well,
what
this is
flavor is that?
This is just this is one of our syrups. This is an old bottle. This was a test bottle. This is what the bottle looks like now. This is just a hibiscus ginger syrup, and that's I don't know if you can see that, but that's
Yeah.
hibiscus heaven. But it's weird, man. Okay, I usually have my products on me all the time. We also do jellies and chutneys. That's a Pride Road peach chutney jar. If you go to prideroad.com, if you go to hibiscus heaven.com, if you go to waterparty.co.co. You'll see all of our products. We're all over the net, and you can read some of the reviews right there. I mean, because people, they love our products, man. They love our
What,
products.
what's the bestseller?
Man, listen, and the funny thing is, I ain't even gonna. I'm gonna just say every weekend I do a Saturday farmers market and a Sunday's farmers market,
Mhm.
right? And I may take anywhere from 150 to 200 pieces of product,
Mhm.
ranging from jellies to sea moss gel and all of the juices, and we do sodas, we do teas. I sell out of everything. I sell out of everything every week. So to say what's the best product, it's hard to
All the
say.
best.
But I sell out of everything. And the funny thing is, it didn't start out that way though.
Mhm.
It took some doing. Um, right now, like I said, we're trying to do this pre-order for Pride Road Tea. Pride Road Tea is a delicious drink and it's good for you. Hibiscus is good for high blood pressure. It's good for hypertension. And so all of our products are health conscious. I do an alkaline spring water, and I do it's a line. It's one flat and five sparkling, off with
Okay.
flavors. Yeah, so we do a bunch of stuff, bro. And I believe in independence, and I believe in building an economy for yourself and helping yourself be self-sufficient so you can help your community. And so Wise Intelligence is very much a part of GIB as well. He's actually a small owner of GIB.
Okay. Okay. So, like, who did
Wise
you get your
Intelligence.
who did you get your business savvy from? Because you started early. When you were in high school. Like, who who rubbed off? Like, who did you who mentored you? Or did you have a mentor? And like, who
Well,
inspired you?
well, I'm gonna tell you, I believe that in business you always need a mentor. And I believe that I got my first mentor before I even knew it. My grandfather was a landlord in Patterson, and
Okay.
he would take me around and pick up rent. And I'm talking about while I was just a little boy, maybe 5, 6 years old.
Mhm.
But I grew up watching him, even unknowingly, watch him go pick up rent, go fix furnaces, fix problems in homes. And I grew up doing the same thing, fixing problems. That's why I manage people because I feel like I can fix the problem. I can figure it out.
Okay.
And then my father, he's real good with his hands. I watched him take parts out of an engine of a car, place them on a cardboard, and number them, and then go backwards and put everything right back where they
Wow.
started. And
Hmm.
then there was Abe and Manny, who I did 720 with. Two
Okay.
Jewish guys who one was the owner of Music Factory, the other one was the owner of more storefront property and real estate in Brooklyn than you ever would know. But they were two different characters. One, Manny was kind of flashy, gold wearing, big watches
Hmm.
and, flashy. And Abe, who I took after, was just as rich as Manny, but you would never know it, because he
Hmm.
didn't wear his money on his sleeve. He didn't wear it on his collar. Um, and I took after him. I always wanted to be, a wealthy, quiet person. I never really wanted people to understand what I have or don't have because it's none of their business.
Right. What artist right now
Pee Wee
inspires
Kirkland
YZ?
is Pee Wee Kirkland is also a mentor of
Okay,
mine.
you know what? Because I kind of that kind of flew over my head. How did Pee Wee Kirkland come into the fold of YZ?
I was doing some projects for the Aleem twins,
Okay.
um, and we were writing for New Kids on the Block, and he had this crew, the Barbarian Twins. They used to do movies. They were working on an album, and he wanted me to write their stuff and produce their stuff. The twins wanted me to work on their project.
Hmm.
So all the while I'm living in Dick Scott's house, Dick Scott's assistant's house, while the twins lived in Dick Scott's house, and I would record for them, write their stuff and record for them. And the twins said, "Hey, there's somebody you need to meet, and I think he should manage you." And I said, "Who?" And they said his name is Pee Wee Kirkland. Now, mind you, I didn't know who Pee Wee Kirkland was,
Hmm.
but I loved and respected the Aleem twins enough to take this meeting, and Pee Wee and I hit it off right away. And he's really about his business. He's real quick about it. And so we I brought him on, and every day I would pick him up, and we did everything together for uh, for the remaining time I lived in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay. What artist now inspires YZ? Or what artist are you feeling right now? It could be young, it could be new, it could be old. Like who inspires YZ to still create music besides yourself?
Stevie Wonder is one. I love that a man with so many challenges
Hmm.
has managed to bless us with unforeseen art, things that
Hmm.
we never would have expected. I remember when I was younger, I didn't really understand the greatness of Stevie Wonder. I would listen to his music and it kind of went over my head.
I think it went
And
over all
then,
of our heads when we were younger. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
and then somewhere along the lines, it settled
Hmm.
that Stevie Wonder is truly a genius.
Hmm.
I mean, like even beyond his music was always cultural. It was always inspiring. It was always uplifting. It was always everything that it needed to be, and it was still funky and fun and free. And not many artists do that. Bob Marley is another one. I love him. Um, I can listen to him all day. But there are a lot of artists that I could listen to all day. I don't know if you want me to just go through a long list because I got a long list.
No,
I listen to a lot.
yeah, just like
Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder is the
Stevie
guy.
Wonder. Yeah, timeless music. I mean, because you
Timeless.
can listen to a Stevie Wonder song right now and you wouldn't know that he made it like 40, 50 years ago. You wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And that's what music is supposed to transcend from decade to decade to decade. And
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
like the music is all about because
Yeah.
and that's why I think that, that's why I like you so much because you weren't stuck in just that in a time. Your music is timeless. Like PRT's music is timeless. I mean, like you
Timeless.
can still go back and listen to it and be like, "Yo, when did they do this?" So I mean,
Yeah.
is
And I
and I
think that
and I
that's the beauty of it.
and I understand that you have to make you have to make certain records for that time, but your whole catalog, your whole body of music is not like that. But my last question to you is, you have to pick one: music or your business ventures. You can only do one. Which one would it be and why?
It would always be business because in business comes everything. Business is vast and business can be everything. In business, you can do juices and sodas and music. Um,
Hmm.
in music, you're only doing music,
Music.
and you may touch people, you may not. But the feeling I get when I watch people drinking or eating our products is like nothing else because they put in total trust in you to put your products inside of their body to nourish them. Now, I used to think music should be that. It should be
Mm.
food for the soul. But so many people don't really they look past me and got onto this other stuff because we're fighting a losing battle. I mean, we're fighting a machine. That's what we're
Hmm.
fighting. So I decided I'm not going to fight against the machine. I'm going to create my own machine, one that works for me. and I'm not going to fight anybody anymore. I love music. I love everything about it. However, if I had to choose one or the other, and I had to walk away from one right now at this stage of my
Mhm.
life, I would walk away from music in a heartbeat.
Okay. Now, don't walk away from music, but don't walk away from music. But
Look,
have you ever?
It took Daddy-O
I
to
know,
say in
I
my
know.
ear, like Daddy-O and I have a album cover for a project that we were gonna do together, called, what does he call it? I can't even remember what he calls it now, but it's a wonderful name. We were walking through a subway, and a friend of ours took a picture of us from the back, and it's the perfect album cover. He has that album cover already done. All
Mhm.
but see, Daddy-O, he thinks so far ahead. Like, I know for sure in his mind we're gonna finish that product,
Right.
but when it happens, I don't know. So
Ha-
he's always in my ear about that.
So, just getting back to the music, very, very last question about music. Have you ever
Yes.
thought about, because you laid out the blueprint, the blueprint like the back of your hand. Would you ever consider starting another independent label?
I have a label now. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I put my own music out. So yes, to be honest with you, man, now that side of it, like I said, that's business for me.
Okay.
Like to start a label and put other people on and help them do their thing. Oh yeah, by all means. But that's business to me. It's the business of music.
Got you. I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I see.
but I thought you meant as in music or business, meaning what I do, artistry or business.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I meant. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. But
Oh,
if
okay.
it was really just about starting a label and putting other people on and helping people out and doing, I mean, that's my nature. That's exactly who I am. That's me.
What advice do you have for the up and coming artists, or for the older MCs that are trying to come back out with music? Like, what is your advice to them?
Remember your authentic self. I mean, because only then will people really be able to feel where you're coming from. I mean, people may listen to something because it's trendy, but they ain't gonna listen to it forever because it's trendy. Trends end. You just said something that really resonated with me. You said, "Hey, who do you like?" And I said, "I like Stevie Wonder." Even though he went over my head at a point, he hit home now.
Hmm.
Well, for me, you also said your music is transcending. And when I was doing it, I didn't understand that. But when I listen back on it now, I understand completely what you mean. Because I'm not going to compromise. I'm gonna do what's authentically in me. And I think as long as you do that, you could be dead in the ground and people still gonna be able to feel you. They're gonna feel you. They're gonna, like here's a prime example. Nas is probably working on a project right now,
Hmm.
right? And he sounds really good because Nas is never gonna let anybody show him up, even when he's featuring on their shit. He's always gonna try to do his best to show them up. But Illmatic was authentically him. Somewhere along the line, Nas was questionable.
Yeah.
And then he decided to become his authentic self again. And I believe you can get lost, but if you were authentic at one point, you at least know what it feels like. And you can find that space again. So if you're an artist, be authentic to who you are. You don't have to, be this artist that copy this artist or sound like this one. I mean, because in that you're just you're just a rehashing of something else, and you're never going to sound like the original ever, but you can sound like your own original. You can be your own original self, and when you do that, man, think about it. Poor Righteous Teacher's first album is so authentic. It's unbelievable.
Hmm.
I can listen to that album from cover to cover right now, and that album, this is me. But it's so dope.
Yeah,
It's so dope. It's so
yeah, so
dope.
dope. Yeah,
It's
you
undeniable.
can't deny it. You cannot deny it. Nah, I get that, and that's respect coming from you because it's like, yo, it's like they're really like the songs are coming after me, but say, hey, I still respect it though.
You gotta respect it. It's like,
Mhm.
you can sit here and play that game, but you gotta respect it. It's just that tight. It's just
Word.
that tight. I can listen to Holy Intellect from now until the day I'm dead.
That's
And
respect right there.
there's not many rap artists that I can say that about. There's a few, but some I can't listen to that album cover to cover. Like most albums, I can't listen cover to cover.
Mhm.
And so that's what Morganic was. That was my challenge. I wanted to do an album that you could put on, vibe out for 30 minutes, and get through it and feel like, God damn, I need to listen to that album again and
And
again
that and that's
and
on
again.
Bandcamp, correct?
It's on Bandcamp. I'll send you a link.
Okay, that's what's up. Hey, look, I want to sum up your career and where you're going at and where you've been and where you're going at with a famous quote. Anthony Hill ain't the average run of the mill. You're not the average run of the mill, bro. I mean, you said that when you was a teenager, and now
Yeah.
look at you now, man. I mean, look, I'm proud of you, bro, because you know what? You helped us. You helped shape us. You know, with the music, with the messages, and you taught us, hey, man, be self-sufficient. You could do things on your own. You got to believe in yourself. You're gonna hit bumps in the road, but you could still persevere of your goals and dreams, man. And I really want to thank you for coming on because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even be on Sabi. I wouldn't even be on WPRB right now. You see what I'm saying? So, I really want to thank you for coming on and, God bless you, man, and much success for you. We're going to support you and your ventures, in the years to come. Please go out and support Morganic. It's out on Bandcamp right now. I'm going to put, where you can go get, the beverage companies, waterparty.co, hibiscus_heaven, and prideroad.com, man. YZ, man, I really want to thank you for coming on. And, this is many more of the interviews that I'm going to have with the legends because they need to be celebrated more. And, I just want to thank, YZ for coming on because, like I said before, he shaped my radio career. And, oh, wait a minute. I said goodbye and YZ came back. Hold on for a minute. Hold on for one minute. Let me try to get you up here. Unmute your mic, brother. I can't hear you.
Yeah, there
There
it
you
is.
go. No, I was saying, thank you because from the WPRB days, you helped shape my radio career in a sense. And I really want to thank you for that because, with your songs and with Tony D, with G the Promoter, Jay Ski, like you gave us like we saw our dreams come true. And me being at PRB for 15 years and having a radio career outside of PRB is a blessing. And I kind of owe it to you, man, because your music really inspired me to do radio.
Oh wow, man, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think
I'm glad to be a part of that. Anything
nah,
that
man.
that
I mean, you're always gonna be a part of
uh,
that. And we've been friends, like I said, when we connected maybe like 10 plus years ago, it was almost like, yo, I'm talking to YZ. I told my brother because my brother's 8 years younger than me, but he knows your music. And he said, well, who are you interviewing this week? I said, YZ. He said, get the fuck out of here. Like he's younger than me, but he knows your music. That's how much you mean to us, bro. And like I said,
well, I
you had
appreciate
the
it.
beverage company and you're still doing music. We're going to support you 100%. And also, shout out to you, Chubb Rock being on Do Me Right's new project too, man, because
Yeah,
that's huge.
yeah, yeah. I like that. Doomy is another one. He stays in the studio. I'm actually on several projects right now. I'm on Black Madine's album. I did a
Black
song
Madine's album,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm on Adolf the Assassins. Well, he's Aguilar the Don. I'm on his album. Uh, what other projects am I on? I'm on several projects, man. Like you know, I'm on Drasmatic's
Yes, you are.
project. Actually, Drasmatic, I was about to be on a new project with him right before he passed, and he sent me this track. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end up using that track for this next. I'm gonna do another project, and I'm gonna put that song on this project and dedicate it to him. And then any finances that come from it, I'm gonna give it to his family.
That's what's up. That's love, man. Hey, look,
Yeah,
YZ, man, I really want to thank you for coming on, and anything I can do to help support you and promote your music and promote your beverage companies, by all means, man, just hit me up. Let me know what I can do because, like I said before, it's just an honor just sharing this space with you. I mean,
man,
it's
no,
true.
the honor's mine.
Nah.
The honor's mine. No, seriously. I mean, listen, see,
I'm about
I
to
don't,
cut you off.
I, well, good. But see, you don't understand. Like, you should, if you've been around me enough, Daddy will probably tell you better. Um, for me, everything is a blessing. Every day is a blessing, and we could put ourselves above the blessing, or we could appreciate the blessing for what it is. Your time is valuable, just like everybody else's time is valuable. So, you taking the time to do this with me is more than a blessing. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to be here to be able to speak to your audience, to speak to you, and to hear um, how any of what I have done has touched you in any way. I mean, think about that. That's a blessing for me, bro. A lot of people do stuff and touch people don't never know what they did to
That's
touch
true.
a person's life. They don't, so to think I get to hear these stories firsthand. Tony D ain't here to listen to these stories.
Yeah.
So it's a blessing for me. So I don't say that lightly when I say this.
Nah, that's what's up, man. Like I said, we appreciate you, bro. And we thank you for all that you've done for our culture and for the state of New Jersey, for WPRB, for our region. And we just salute you, man. And like I said,
Salute.
congratulations and much more success in the near future, bro.
Yes, thank you very much, Phil. Thank you. I
That's what's
appreciate you,
up.
brother.
No, I appreciate you. And we'll talk some more.
Hey, and if you guys have IG, follow at the Black Bank. It's
Yep.
right there.
One right
The
there. Yep.
Black Bank is right there. All right.
Hey, look, that's gonna do it for me, Sabi Radio or Sabi TV, signing off with my man YZ, and I will talk to you guys later on.